You know why I'm vacationing in Dubai right now? Because I stopped drowning in RFEs, intake calls, and late night filings. I used to hire freelancers who barely knew what a G28 was. Total chaos. Then I found IMI support, virtual immigration paralegals trained in real case prep, DocketWise, and USCIS workflows. Now my calendar's clean, my clients are happy, and my firm runs while I relax. You can hustle or you can outsource smart. I chose freedom. I chose Emmy support.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Immigration Talk Show. I'm your host, Sam. And today we are excited to have this session because the guest who is going to join us is going to join us for the very first time. So, friends, stay tuned and stay connected with us. Also, watch this webinar till the end and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. Also, we are available on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and on Instagram too. So do follow us and like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And before moving ahead, let me go through with this very important disclaimer. That is, by watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information provided by our experts and attorneys, including comments and replies from users, is not a legal advice. Use of information at your own risk. Once again, friends, welcome back everyone to Immigration Talk Show, and it's me, your host, Sam. Talking about today's topic is again a very interesting one and a very important one. How will marriage based green cards be different in 2025? So, getting a green card through marriage sounds easy, right? Just fall in love, say, yes, I do, snap a few cute photos, and sign few forms. That's all. But you know what? In 2025, it's not just about romance. It's about paperwork, updated rules, and most importantly, proving that your marriage is real, loving, and yes, a real card, green card worthiness. So if you are also looking for marriage based green cards, then this session is for you. And the best thing about this session is the guest who is going to join us is highly experienced and one of the finest immigration attorney. Joining me in a bit, none other than immigration attorney Marc Santamaria, who is a dedicated immigration lawyer, AI consultant, and also founder of SantaMaria Law Firm that is based in San Francisco. He has over 12 years of experience and helped hundreds of clients with marriage based green cards, work visas, asylum, and even more. So I think without any further ado, let me welcome him. Hi, Mark. So happy to have you and really our honor to have a show with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, Sam, it's my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Same here. And our viewers are also excited to have a show with you as you are our new face on Immigration Talk Show. So it's really lovely to have you. And I hope that you're doing great today and really excited for the session as we all are.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And day after Father's Day, it's a special day,
Yeah.
and I'm just happy to be here that I can share my experience with you all.
Absolutely, that's lovely. And I think, Mark, before diving into the questions, as I have so many questions, and some of our viewers have already joined us. So, hi, Ricky, and thank you so much for your question. Stay connected, soon we are going to take it. So, I think, Mark, as you have joined us for the very first time, if you can let us know something about you, like what inspired you to become an immigration attorney, any incident or anything that if you want our viewers to know about you, please go ahead.
I appreciate the question. And when I was postgrad after my undergrad degree,
Mhm.
I was considering immigration, and then I studied abroad in the Philippines, which is where my parents are from. And I had an interview with a U.S. consulate officer. And so what I remember seeing that day will forever be with me because when I went to the U.S. consulate
Mhm.
to interview the officer, there was a line for American citizens, which I'm very blessed and acknowledge. I'm very spoiled to have this position. by birth, and then I went through that line very quickly. But then I saw in this 90 to 95 degree Fahrenheit day, people lining up for the consulate, and some under tents. And in the Philippines, there's about 7,000 plus islands, and so it's not like they could just take the neighborhood bus there. So so they had to camp out there in that heat, and I felt so guilty, and I feel like that was one of those clear moments about 20 years ago that I can still clearly see and feel the heat. I could feel the heat of going to the office, and then the cool air conditioner inside the consulate. They had to brave the heat. I mean, yeah, many of them are used to the heat, but then still, it's not pleasant to wait that long. And so that's one. There are so many other reinforcing incidents in my life that really inspired me to serve immigrants, and emphasis on serve. I feel like this is a service business, and being able to serve people is what my faith is based on, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do work that serves people. And yeah, we have an organization, we have a founding attorney, we have legal assistants and whatever. But then at the end of the day, we're serving other people, and I like that. I didn't want to get into corporate law because it's just an entity. You know, here we're helping actual people that some of us become friends with, and that's, it's always a treat to see some we help from the beginning become citizens, and we become lifelong friends after that. So yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful, and that's really motivating. It feels so good, Mark, that there are such a good people, who really want others also to grow and to have a pretty life. I mean, nobody wants to, stay in a long queue, that too in such a summer heat. They all want to have a good life, a comfortable life under AC, and you are really inspiring people and helping them. So it feels wonderful. And friends, if you also want to have your love story in terms of marriage based green cards, stress free and without any problem, then I'll suggest that go ahead and reach out to attorney Marc Santamaria. You just have to visit the link that will be visible on the screen, and you'll get the contact details of her. Go ahead, reach out to her and ask any question or any query that you are having in your mind. And with that, also don't forget to subscribe to our channel at Immigration Talk Show, our handle. Okay, let me go ahead with my very first question, Mark, that I want to bring up in front of you. That USCIS has updated, some green card forms this year. So how can couples make sure that they are using the right ones when applying in 2025?
That's a very interesting question, because first we have to know the stakes involved. So if you submit a form that's outdated, it can be flat out denied. Not even an RFE will be sent. It's just a denial. And so it's a reasonable request, in my opinion, to just to use the latest one. But just note that for the viewers out there, USCIS has updated its forms, specifically the 485 and the I-130, this past spring. And so you have to check carefully. And it says there on the bottom of the form when it's expired or not. And so you can also check on uscis.gov for the latest form, because sometimes what people do is they just go online and then they happen to find the form. But it's better to go to the source, uscis.gov, and then just get the updated form there. Then be very mindful of any any announcements that they have about the changing of the expiration date or the changing form validity, because it can happen anytime. And so, like for example, this past updates to these forms, they kind of happened all of a sudden. And so people have to be aware that it can happen. And if I were you, I would just carefully look at the dates and have a goal in terms of, okay, it's going to take a few months for me to submit this case. And so right before I send it, I'm going to double check if the form is still updated and still accurate and not expired. And so before you all send it out, please double check uscis.gov and see if it's still the updated form, because it does take a while to fill out the forms. And then right before you send it, you can double check it. And so, yes, so check the USCIS website regularly. Review the instructions also, because with the forms, they not only have the date, but they also have instructions on how to fill out the forms. And it might be in relation to some sort of date requirement. So be aware of that. And obviously consult with an immigration attorney, double check with an attorney if it's the latest form.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much, Mark, for explaining things. And I'm sure our viewers are, keeping a note of all these very important pointers. And it's a very important, and most of the time our viewers overlook these are very important pointers. So I hope, friends, that you are getting benefited from this session, and participate as much as possible. Ask any question. We are here for another hour. So I think that will be great. And let me go ahead with another question, Mark, that is for you. That is USCIS taking longer or faster to process marriage green cards this year?
Yeah, and the short answer is yes. And the feeling is real too. So for example, when I'm in USCIS offices, the wait time is longer, and so I also heard from other colleagues that some USCIS officers left their jobs, and so naturally, the processing time will be extended. And so knowing this, it's very important to consider that in terms of expectations, because if you are expecting to get a result of your application because, oh, you have a friend that told you, oh, it took me 5 months, I got the response, I got my green card in 5 months. That's your friend who probably did it last year. So just be aware that, okay, we're in different times now. We acknowledge that, but we strategize. Okay, so knowing that it's going to take longer than usual, okay, how can we get this application in faster, as fastly, but as detail-oriented as possible? So you really have to balance it out. And that's why obviously working with an attorney may help. But yes, we acknowledge that there are delays, but we try to pay attention to detail when filling out these forms and send it out. And then you control what you can control. And sometimes we say, control the controllables. So you can control how fast you put together your application. You can't control how long it's going to take. And that's fine. Although other visas have premium processing, ironically, marriage does not. Fine. After a while, you can get your work permit. You can get your travel permit. And so you look at that as a halfway goal, and then you have your green card interview later. So yes, it takes longer, but strategize. And if you do that with an attorney, it can help you put together your case faster.
That's right. And that's wonderfully explained. So thank you so much, Mark, for your detailed explanation and putting things in a very simple form. So I think let me go ahead with my next question. And we have been hearing, Mark, that the rules for the medical exam have been changed. So if you can explain what's different and what it means for people who are applying for a marriage-based green card this year.
Right. So this is interesting. So it is actually kind of a reasonable request too, but basically it's saying that, in a nutshell, the form has to be valid, but now in more detail. So USCIS has changed their validity period for the form I-693, which is for green card applicants. They have to submit this form, for those of you that don't know, and signed by a civil surgeon. And it has to be after November 1st, 2023. Okay, so the form is now only valid while the associated application is pending. So in other words, yeah, if your application is withdrawn or denied, the exam is no longer valid for future applications, whereas it would have been in the past. But that's makes sense to me in terms of, okay, at least it could be worse, right? So just because the people who withdraw their cases are very, very few. And so just make sure you are aware of the date of the form and the medical exam to match the requirements of the validity period. That's the key. But in terms of, okay, if you withdraw your case, yes, you will have to submit a new form, 693, which is fine. You just have to do what you have to do, and just be aware of it. This is a new policy. It was implemented June 11th, if I remember correctly, 2025. And so this is something to be up to date with. And so talk with your attorney and check if you have the correct form, updated form, and so that you're all on the same page of its of validity.
That's right. Absolutely. And I think that's explained wonderfully. So let me go ahead with my next question. And thank you so much, Mark, for taking up that one. Now, I think before diving into how the conditional green cards being handled, if you can let us know what is the meaning of conditional green card, then that will be great.
Sure. So let's think about what it's called, the conditional green card. So you have your green card, but it's conditioned. So and so because the background is there's a lot of marriage fraud, especially from Asian countries, and me being the child of Filipino immigrants, Indians, also Chinese. So there's a lot of fraud, especially from those countries. And so the officers are trained to look out for those kinds of issues.
Okay.
And so, and another check is the conditional green card. And these are issued to applicants whose marriage to a US citizen was less than 2 years at the time of approval. So kind of like for newlyweds, so, but after that, they can request to remove the conditions and have their 10-year green card. So there's a form called Form I-751, and so the applicants have to file that within 90 days before the condition expires. So now to your question about, okay, so how has it changed, if at all, in 2025? So for these, at least, fortunately, it doesn't seem like there has been a big change in the processing times. But we're in June 2025, and anything can happen with processing times. But in
That's
terms
right.
of our experience, yeah, unfortunately. But in terms of our experience, we're okay with processing times. Just it's more important that people consider that, yes, USCIS continues to scrutinize these kinds of cases very closely. And so when you do submit your 751 application, in other words, the waiver of conditions application, you should, like you did the first time, work as hard or even more on putting together evidence of your quote unquote bona fide marriage, which is a fancy lawyer way of saying just a real
Yeah.
marriage. And so submit the same kinds of evidence, tax returns, photos together, social media together, receipts, and finances are key. So things like that are very important. And I was just in some green card interviews based on marriage recently, and the number one thing that the officers asked about were financial accounts together. So please note that if and when you have your interview, you will likely be asked about those kinds of similar kind of joint accounts. So, for example, tax returns and savings accounts, checking accounts, credit cards, lease together. They really want to see those things. The pictures are nice, the cards are nice, but any kind of joint accounts really does seem to persuade them. So if and you would think that people are aware of that, but then we get even our current clients to this day still think like, oh, okay, it's okay if I file separately.
Yeah.
It not really. You may want to consider filing jointly. You know, what kind of red flags does this raise when you have your 751 pending? Like you still don't have your um, taxes jointly, filed. So maybe you got away with it the first time at your adjustment of status application, but then out of a year or two later, you still haven't filed taxes jointly. So think
Yeah.
about that. What would any reasonable person think if in a USCIS officer's position if you still haven't filed jointly? So think
Yeah.
about those things as you put together your 751 form.
All right. That's great. Thank you so much, Mark, for putting up, these very great insights. And I'm sure our viewers are keeping a note of it and, explaining things in a very simple manner. It's really a great thing, and you're doing a great job. So I think we are really enjoying this session and so much to learn from you. Your expertise are really great. So friends, stay tuned and stay connected. We are just going for a short, quick break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be joining in a minute. Till then, if you have any question till now, because we have covered half part of our today's topic, go ahead, post them on the comment section, and don't go anywhere. Keep watching Immigration Talk Show.
You know why I'm vacationing in Dubai right now? Because I stopped drowning in RFEs, intake calls, and late night filings. I used to hire freelancers who barely knew what a G28 was. Total chaos. Then I found IMI Support, virtual immigration paralegals trained in real case prep, DocketWise, and USCIS workflows. Now my calendar's clean, my clients are happy, and my firm runs while I relax. You can hustle or you can outsource smart. I chose freedom. I chose IMI Support.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Immigration Talk Show. It's me, your host, Sam, and today we are having a great discussion with none other than immigration attorney Marc Santamaria on the topic how will marriage based green cards be different in 2025? So, thank you, Mark, for being here, and I hope you're enjoying this session. And with your permission, can we move ahead with our next questions?
Please.
Okay, that's great. And let me go ahead with this very important question. And that is it true, Mark, that when I-130 and I-485 are filed together, then waiting time depends on the slower of the two? Also, how should couples strategize their filing to minimize the delays?
Uh, uh, Not necessarily. So, um, yeah, the main thing you can do is to check processing time is to check a USCIS.gov's processing time tab, and then you have to because it depends on the region you're in because they have different offices, and the offices have different processing times. So when you click the form that you're entering, and when you do that, it'll show you a processing time. It's an approximate processing time. So for example, like I'm based in San Francisco, and yeah, it's taken about a year. It's going to be longer, that's for sure. But somebody in uh, central Kansas might be a bit faster than ours because there's just more applications in our area. So that's something you can do. Just check online to see the processing time there. But it shouldn't, and that should give you a good approximate time. And they sometimes they say it's going to take X amount of months or whatever year, but then the reality is it's about a little bit faster than it actually is, which is a good thing. And generally, that's the way it goes. They kind of hedge their bets. So if it says a year and 2 months, maybe you'll get your news in a year. So that's usually what happens, and that's a good thing. So hopefully that happens for you too.
Absolutely. We hope for everybody that happens. And I think let me go ahead with my next question, Mark. And this is that has the scrutiny increased for international marriages or long distance relationships? Now, Mark, here's a one case study that I would like to, make you understand so that it will be easier for our viewers to get the idea with the example. So what happened that there was a girl named Lisa who was actually a US citizen, and she got married to Raj who was an Indian citizen, and they had like a long distance dating, and it has been a year for them. And at his 2025 green card interview, what happened, the officers, they questioned every detail from daily routines to their texting habits and everything. And despite photos and records, his visa still got denied under 221G for inefficient insufficient evidences, and it took like months and more documents to finally get approval. So after proving so many things and giving so many documents, they got the approval. As we compare to other case like that was having a short distance relationship, the couples, those who were living together, those living together in the US often faced few hurdles, but they shared some lease, joint bills, and everyday photos, that made it easier for them to prove a real relationship. So is it true that distance matters if we talk about long distance, short distance in the eyes of USCIS? How does the process goes?
The short answer is yes, but there are ways to help your case. So,
Okay.
so the the officers will know the facts. The officer will ask you, why are you not living together? Why are you in this long distance relationship? And you have to answer truthfully. But before that, what can you do to strengthen your case? Because ultimately they're going to ask you those kinds of questions like, okay, if you really, really love this person and you got into this marriage for real, why are you on opposite sides of the world?
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking. But how do we show them, okay, it's real? All right. So we've had several clients with this kind of situation, and every case is a bit different. But usually, what we say to such clients is, okay, it's kind of funny, but can you visit your spouse in your country, in his or her country, go on a vacation together, take some pictures,
Yeah.
enjoy each other's time as presents. And secondly, and probably more importantly, is okay, as I mentioned earlier about the finances, we understand that it's hard to create joint accounts, especially if you're not in the same country physically.
Yeah.
So you have to find ways to get around that. Okay, how about a will and a trust to show that okay, you're fully committed to each other, you're carefully family and financial planning with each other,
Yeah.
and talk with a CFA or somebody who can come up with some ideas of joint accounts that you can create while one spouse is abroad. And so it shows to the officers like, okay, wow, okay, they're really trying to make this work. And so, yes, it's a hurdle, but then it's not impossible. Like we've had clients where it worked out for them.
Oh.
And actually there were minimal times when they were actually physically together, but we figured it out. So okay, maybe they only saw each other once, but that one time they took a lot of pictures, they bought each other gifts, and also during that time they
Mhm.
had the spouse sign certain documents so that they can create an account together, or so use that time wisely when you are on that one trip to see your loved one, your spouse, and see what you can do and get done while you're physically together. So yes, it does draw a little more scrutiny, but then it's not impossible. There are ways to show that you are in a real relationship.
Wow, I think these tips will not only just get their marriage green cards approved, but also it will make their relationship stronger and better. Because these are the proofs, right? They are going to show some pictures, flight tickets, and together. So, okay,
Yeah,
that's
and if I may add to that,
sure.
um, I've had some clients, to your point, like it actually, this whole process can actually, ironically, bring people together.
Yeah.
I did this with my wife. She
Oh,
came here as a F1 student, yeah,
oh, wow.
and she's right there with our son, uh, and and so she was an F1 student, um, and we had to put together this case, and I was already an immigration lawyer at the time,
Mm-hmm.
but it was fun to see pictures, and she even made some photo albums. She's the one who did it,
Oh,
but
wow.
she put together some photo albums that we still have to this day. We didn't throw them away, and so we printed them out, and they're still here at home. And if we didn't have the interview, we wouldn't have that photo album. We
Oh,
have actually four of them, small
wow.
four small photo albums of printed out pictures in a book binder, and we kept those, and we'll always remember that was actually the time we had our interview. And so actually did bring us closer in a way. So it's all perspective, right? So yes, it's a stressful time, but we acknowledge that. Okay, how can we make the best out of it,
Yeah.
right? And so and so if you all can do that, then okay, this might make it less stressful, even just a little bit, right? Yeah.
That's right. And that's beautiful, Mark. It feels so good that, when a real married happy couples we see and we feel so happy, okay, that marriage can be so pretty, even in the USA in 2025. So I think that's pretty and that's wonderful. And I think, friends, you can also go ahead and ask more questions. So I think, Mark, let's take up some of the questions from our viewers because I don't want to wait longer. So Ricky is here. Hi, Ricky, and I hope you have subscribed to our channel. If you haven't, then please go ahead and subscribe to Immigration Talk Show right now. Okay, so Ricky has a very important question, Mark. That can premium processing increase chances of RFE for NIW I-140 petition approval? Also, in what cases should one seek G28 representation required?
Okay, so I'm biased as an attorney, and so for those of you that don't know Ricky's question about what a G28 is, so a G28 is a form that attorneys fill out for clients in USCIS so that attorneys can represent applicants. So that's the G28. In what cases should one seek representation? I'm biased, of course, in all of them. I would say yes, there should be an attorney. But some people, and to that point, some people. Just last week, I was in a green card interview applicant's case. It was actually for an NIW, and I see Ricky, you have similar NIW questions, and so he was on it. He was focused. He was well prepared. One of the most prepared people I've ever met, and he had a binder full of tabs of all his case-related documents, very organized. And he put together his IDs in one folder with the tab. He put together his checklist, his NIW-related evidence, all in all in separate tabs, and he knew where to go. He practiced actually pulling them out for the interview, and so yeah, we told him to do this. We tell all our clients to do it, but uh, to make it look that nice and to be as organized, he's one of the top performers for our clients, and so he did it, and he had such a good interview. He answered each question very articulately, and the officer was very reasonable and friendly. And he would have, let's say he got a very confrontational one, he would have been able to fully respond as well because we prepared him for the worst. So it was a very smooth interview, but we a week and a half prior to that started doing mock interviews with him, um, two or three, and we gave him very tough questions. Okay, why does your work serve the national interest? Give us details. And
Yeah.
at the first time, he said, "Yeah, it helps because I something like I help in my field," but it's very general. And so I said to him, "Okay, that's nice, but what can we do to make it more specific? And how can
Mhm.
you answer the question more directly?"
Yeah.
Okay, and then we practiced again, and then he answered that again. And then at the interview, he answered it just as we practiced. It was beautiful to see. And so that's best case scenario. And he said himself, like, yeah, I could have done this, but just knowing that you were there was very comforting because he was nervous. He said, yeah, I was nervous the whole time,
Mhm.
but just you physically being there, like it actually helped me. And so those are some things to consider because, like the boxer said, Mike Tyson, uh, we all have a plan until the first punch. I'm rephrasing it, but you know what I mean. We all have a plan until you enter the ring, right? So you want to be there with as many resources as possible, right? So that's one thing. And then to your other question about premium processing, does it increase the chances of RFEs? And no, RFEs are just um, almost something you should assume you'll get. So it's don't feel bad, you know. So um, you should plan ahead actually for that, because as I mentioned, I'm an immigration attorney and we got an RFE. So it happens and it's okay. It's just part of the process. We tell clients that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got an RFE too, and I'm an immigration attorney, and and so yeah, you'll probably get an RFE. Fine, you just deal with it.
That's right. And I think that's really honest and of you, Mark, that you're putting up these pointers because most of the time we try to sugarcoat things, but you are bringing up these things and making them feel that it's pretty normal. It's not such a big blunder that they feel as if what a big mistake had happened. So I think a great thing and great points you have been explaining. So friends, as Mark has said that don't be so burdened, and if you're preparing for the best then also be ready for the worst too, and that's how you are going to be, I would say, like keep going and stay motivated. Nothing is going to happen, and sooner or later, I think, of course, if you are passionate and dedicated, then you'll get your dream come true. So I think, Mark, you're explaining things wonderfully, and so many viewers have joined us. So I think this session is really going great way, and a great engagement we have got. So with that, friends, stay connected, stay tuned, and we'll be coming back just after a short and a quick break. So see you just in a minute. Until then, keep watching everybody Immigration Talk Show.
You know why I'm vacationing in Dubai right now? Because I stopped drowning in RFEs, intake calls, and late night filings. I used to hire freelancers who barely knew what a G28 was. Total chaos. Then I found IMI support, virtual immigration paralegals trained in real case prep, docket-wise, and USCIS workflows. Now my calendar's clean, my clients are happy, and my firm runs while I relax. You can hustle or you can outsource smart. I chose freedom. I chose IMI support.
All right, so hi everyone, and welcome back to Immigration Talk Show. It's me, Sam, your host, and I have a very special guest joining me today, none other than immigration attorney Marc Santamaria. And he has 12 years of experience. And till now, friends, we have gone through so many questions. In case if you want to get in directly connected with this attorney, then you can directly visit this link that is on the screen, and you'll get the contact details of Mark, and surely he's going to help you out. Okay, let me go ahead with Bhavik Patel. So, hi Bhavik, and thank you so much for your question. I hope you have subscribed to our channel. If you haven't, then do it right now. Okay, Bhavik is asking, my spouse and I are planning to travel internationally while our green card application is pending. So, what are the specific requirements for obtaining advance parole, and how can we ensure that our travel plans does not create any problem with our application?
Okay. Yeah, good question, and especially in light of what's going on um, nationally with travel issues. So if I were you, yes, I would be a little concerned too. So that's a very legitimate question. So yes, and by the way, I just came back from Asia about 2, 3 weeks ago, and you can feel it. You can feel it at the airport at SFO. You could feel the anxiety. Yes, I went through the citizen line, but then I intentionally wanted to see the green card line too, and for foreigners, and so I was really observing and
Mhm.
how is it different traveling internationally versus last year, because we travel internationally sometimes, and we
Right.
traveled last year and we traveled this year. So
Mhm.
what I saw in the and felt was anxiety. So Bhavik, I fully respect your question. So yes, so there is a form I-131 for advanced parole,
Mhm.
and when you do fill that out, you have to give reason and for your travels, because let's think about this. The background is you're applying for your green card, which is an immigrant visa. So and so you want to stay here permanently, and so if you keep traveling outside, which some of our clients have issues with because they have businesses, they have families, etc. And so they actually really have to, or think they have to, stay abroad for a long period of time. But obviously, that conflicts with the intent of a immigrant visa. So intent is key in immigration, and so when you have these conflicting intents, that will raise a red flag. Now, so when you fill out the form, you with that in the background, you say, okay, I'm only going to be gone for a month, and I'm going to XYZ country, let's say India, for example, to visit family,
Mhm.
and so one thing that usually is worth noting is it's a family event. So let's say that your uncle is getting married, your cousin's gonna have a marriage ceremony, and or unfortunately someone has passed away in your family, and so you need to be there for them. And so when you actually back it up with evidence, that does help get your I-131 approved advance parole. And so with everything, as a lawyer, you back it up with evidence. And so what we usually do is we provide supporting evidence, such as even a wedding invitation.
Mhm.
So things like that that show that it's a real event and you really want to go. It's for someone you love, and yeah, we're going together. So then that shows that, yeah, you're traveling together, and since you're abroad, take pictures out there. Um, so yeah, so kill two birds with one stone is my point. So fill out the I-131, and then
Mhm.
while you're abroad, take pictures of you're traveling, so that when you apply for your 751, the removal of conditions, you'll have extra evidence to submit at that time. So you can use that kind of evidence for multiple purposes. So think about those things as you apply for advanced parole.
Absolutely, and that's very well explained and very well put up, Mark. And talking about pictures, also, I think nowadays it's becoming trend. Wherever you are going, you always have some snaps or just sharing Instagram stories or putting a WhatsApp status. So I think it's becoming trend, right? They are making vlogs also, and pre-wedding shoots are also there. So I think this is really going to be a fun activity and also necessary one as well. So, really great, and these points are wonderfully explained. So, Sakshi is here, and hi, Sakshi. Thank you so much for being here and participating. Okay, Sakshi is asking that I have a prior immigration violation on my record. How will this affect my eligibility for a marriage based green card? Anything specific should be done in such situation? Yes, Mark.
Okay. So I have to start off with the lawyer response of it depends. But here's what I can say in terms of this kind of question. It's not the end of the world. Usually isn't. We've had many clients with such violations in the past, and sometimes what happens is they worked under the table or have a speeding ticket. Fine. So, but first, this is where you kind of should have an attorney. I know you want to save money. Some people want to save money, but at this point, if you do have a violation, you should definitely consider at least talking with an attorney, because it really does depend. I wish I could give you a straight up answer, but it depends if it's a crime based on domestic violence. It depends if it's a crime based on marijuana. If it depends if it's just a simple crime of whatever it is. It really depends, because worst case scenario, it's a crime that makes you inadmissible. If it's something like that, then yes, you have to highly consider talking with an attorney, because it could bar you from applying for any immigration benefit. However, if it's something maybe working under the table and then you marry a citizen, that should be waived. So it really depends. Talk with an attorney, and before you submit anything, make sure you did your research, okay? Because the USCIS will have everything. You will be surprised about how much they know about you, and for them, it's a click of a button. And so, don't assume that you can hide anything. And so, I would rather you fill out the forms and just volunteer that information on the back of the forms, because on the 485, for example, it asks, have you ever committed a crime or been charged with a crime? So they make it very broad, so there's no way around having any negative interaction with the authorities. So you just say yes, and then say what happened, and then explain that on the form and at your interview. And if it's a violation that can be waived, you should be fine. So, but again, please consider talking with an attorney.
Absolutely. And Sakshi, I think you should go ahead with expert guidance and the guest who is sitting in front of me, who could be better than that. So go ahead, directly visit this link, and you'll get in touch with Attorney Marc Santamaria. I can understand that these violation cases might sound a little confidential. So go ahead, reach out to her. You'll get the email ID of, reach out to him, sorry. And you can also get the email ID of him as well. And there you can share your details, your documents, or anything, whatever queries you're having. And he would love to help you out. Okay, so I think thank you, Sakshi, for being here. And yeah, let me go ahead with Ganesh comment. So Ganesh is asking that I have a non-traditional marital history, significant age gap, and cultural differences. So we are concerned that USCIS may scrutinize our application more closely due to our unusual circumstances. So the question is that what are the key factors that USCIS will consider when evaluating our application? Are there any specific forms or statements that we need to submit to address our non-traditional marital history? Yes, Mark.
Very interesting question. And so, yeah, again, we've been doing these kinds of cases for more than a decade, or about a decade, and so you think about all the kinds of cases we've had over the years. And so
Yeah.
love, I'm based in San Francisco. Love is in different forms. Okay. So, so that is a factor to consider. Yes, there are some factors that if there's a age gap is a very important thing to address. So yeah, you can't change anything about your age gap, but what can you do? You can strengthen your case and say the
Mhm.
truth. So when they ask, okay, well, likely you have, or people that in your situation have had prior marriages,
Yeah.
and just say, you know, I'm going through another marriage, and hopefully this will be it. Kind of joke around a little bit and be lighthearted, and so maybe you'll get the officer to smile a little bit. And you know, it's as a married man, it's not easy. It's not easy because there are
Yeah.
things that come up, and it's hard to understand these cultural differences because yes, I'm Asian, my wife is Asian too, but we're from totally different countries. And so when the officer asked us questions, the officer happened to be Filipino American, and so he asked us questions about like, okay, so this is a long time ago, so I don't remember exactly, but something about our separate cultures.
Hmm.
Not because he didn't believe us, because I think he wanted to pass us. It's just he was just trying to kill time. But he asked us like some random question about um, my wife's culture, and then we kind of joked about it, and it worked out. But I knew a little bit about her culture because I love her culture. I love her culture's food, you know. So you can show pictures of you guys eating out at the different kinds of cultural restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, what do you do to celebrate each other's cultures?
Mhm.
Um, you know, things like that. So, um, same thing like I said earlier, document everything. Okay, you have cultural differences, but you have one bank account. Think about that. Okay, so think about what is irrefutable. Like you actually share a bank account. Okay, so you file jointly. You have a lot of pictures of your travels together. You
Mhm.
know, you think about that. You have the burden, but then yeah, just keep adding to that to your list of evidence. Okay, and then let them decide.
All right. That's that's so sweet, Mark, that you are also sharing your experience, and by setting an example, also our viewers can relate to it. That yes, if you have also went through it, then it's not just that you haven't experienced those situations and you're randomly giving advice. So, friends, I think it's great. You have an example sitting over here and who is living his dreams. So, I think that's wonderful. And also go ahead and get in touch with attorney Marc Santamaria just by visiting this link, and you'll get the contact details of him. Okay, Rudra is here, Mark, and Rudra is saying that he is sharing his experience. Hi, I had an interview on 4th February 2025. After the interview, officer put my case under administrative processing. Now, embassy sent me a letter saying I need to upload some documents on CEAS site and drop off passport when log in to my CEAS profile. Okay, and there's a continuation to it, but there is no option for upload documents. Then what should I do? I emailed to NVC, but I did not receive any response. Also, the asking passport drop off while you are in under AP. Is this a good sign or not?
I totally get it, Rudra. It's so confusing because yeah, they ask you to upload documents, but there's no place to upload it. So it's like, yeah, okay, here you go, but can you accept it? That's something I have to actually I have to guide you through of like where to click and things like that. So that's something. Feel free to reach out to me and my office, and we'll try to show you where to go. But it's possible.
All right. That's wonderful. I think Rudra, you need some guidance to it and some, little deep analysis on it. So, and Rudra, I hope you have subscribed to our channel. If you haven't, then please do it right now. We would love to have more sessions with the attorney Marc Santamaria, and I think that will be great. So, I think let me go ahead, Mark, with some another questions that I have for you. And we have been talking about so many things right now. So, any update on public charge rule, affidavits, or financial requirements in 2025?
Uh, okay, these are also good questions. So, public charge rule keeps changing, and so I have to be careful on what I say. But so as for now, it's related to the 485, and so you can check that in terms of public charge. So when it comes to um, the public charge rule, you have to really pay attention to what's going on, because the 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 policies changed frequently over the past several years with Democrats and Republicans in office, and so it's going to change. You can assume that. Right now, it is what it is the status quo. So it's no change lately. But then, in terms of the affidavits of support, not necessarily either. No real updates, and that's in relation to the financial requirements. So, for example, you have to submit your past year of tax returns for adjustment of status case, and it's a plus if you also submit the past, include 3 years, including the most recent year. So 3 years total, past three. That's of the financial documents. And so in terms of requirements, yeah, tax returns, and in some cases, in many cases actually, they'll want employment verification letter from the sponsor or petitioner. So those are some financial requirements that you should be aware of.
All right, that's right. And I think it's almost time, Mark, and we didn't even realize like it's been 1 hour. So I think let me go ahead with one last question, and after that, I think we can move ahead with our wrapping up. So, how can newlyweds avoid delays or rejection during this process? Any tips, any strategies for newlyweds? Please go ahead.
Well, that's a good question, and so we've had newlyweds, and we've had cases where they've been married for a decade and finally got around to it. And so for those newlywed cases, it's still possible to avoid delays or rejections. But if so, you're obviously asking this question because you want to get this done as soon as possible. But at my suggestion is make sure it's you have a quality case. So yeah, maybe it'll take an extra week to put together to open up a joint bank account. I would rather wait that 1 week to open up a joint bank account, because if you don't give enough evidence, then yeah, you will likely get an RFE, some sort of delay, and so I would just consider doing those things and plan ahead. So assume that it's not going to happen overnight where you can open up a bank account. Assume that an estate planning attorney or family law attorney is going to take at least a few weeks to just get a call from that other attorney. So assume all those things. So knowing those things, do those first, right? Save yourself some time and some headaches. And so prioritize the things that you cannot really control. Like, as I said earlier, control the controllables. So you can control picking up a call to your family law attorney to write your will and trust. You can control that. You can't control his or her schedule. So yeah, just do what you can to control what you can control, and that will likely increase your chances of avoiding delays.
Okay, that's great. And I think that's all for today, Mark. And I think that was really great having all the questions. And I'm sure our viewers are so happy and satisfied with the insights that you have provided them. And it was a great engagement, great feedback from our viewers. So I think this was your first time on Immigration Talk Show. So please go ahead and let us know how was your experience, how did you feel, and when should we look forward to our next session?
Well, Sam, I really appreciate this opportunity, and it's a lot of fun. I love advocating for immigrants. As I said earlier, I love serving, and
Mhm.
so that's what I feel like I'm called to do. And
Okay.
I really appreciate this opportunity that I am given to show that I'm of service to people, and we are of service. So thank you for this wonderful opportunity. It was fun.
Same here. And I think, Mark, we are getting lots of engagement not only on YouTube but also on LinkedIn as well. We can see a lot of comments here. So I think that's really great. And thank you so much, guys, for joining us. It is really appreciating. It is really motivating. I hope you all are liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. And if you want more sessions or any other topic that you would like to cover us, on our next upcoming show, then also put them on the comment section, and we will make sure that we are going to fulfill your demands, your needs again. And with that, Mark, it was really wonderful, our honor to have a show with you. I am really feeling so happy that you are here. You have put in a lot of efforts, so many great insights on the table. So wonderful. Have a great day. And once again, thank you so much for being here. It was really great to have you.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you, Immigration Talk Show. And it's my pleasure and privilege. All the best, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mark. Have a great day. Okay, so with that, friends, I hope you like this session, and we have covered so many questions on a very interesting topic about marriage-based green cards. In case if you are having any more doubts or any other queries regarding the topic, then please go ahead, put them on the comment section. And even after the live stream ends, we are going to come back to those questions and will provide the great answers to those. And in case if you want to get in touch with Attorney Marc Santamaria, then please go ahead, visit this link and get in touch with her. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. I'm sure this session has been helpful for couples, newlyweds, and for those guys also who are looking to have, their marriage-based green cards. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. It's me, Sam, and looking forward to another great session that will be live at 4 p.m. EDT. So join us there. Until then, keep motivating, keep yourself informed, and also keep watching Immigration Talk Show. Thanks, everyone.
You know why I'm vacationing in Dubai right now? Because I stopped drowning in RFEs, intake calls, and late night filings. I used to hire freelancers who barely knew what a G28 was. Total chaos. Then I found IMI Support, virtual immigration paralegals trained in real case prep, DocketWise, and USCIS workflows. Now my calendar's clean, my clients are happy, and my firm runs while I relax. You can hustle or you can outsource smart. I chose freedom. I chose IMI Support.